Yahweh of the Lions of Israel came.
I have been in this knowledge for 31 years, since 1988.
I've been in the truth for 9 years.
I've been in the truth for 3 years. Before I came into this truth, I was in a gang, and I did a lot of wickedness towards my own people.
Before I became an Israelite, I was in the church, eating pork and doing abominable things.
I was a Rastafarian before I came into this knowledge. The Lord is looking for a few good men, because our Lord Christ says that the harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few. Donate to the Lions of Israel Building Fund so that we can teach our people their true language.
So the Spirit moves you. Donate to the Lions of Israel Building Fund to wake our people up.
Brothers and sisters, Yahweh show me how to shine Rakatham.
Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat Rakatham.
And I beheld heaven open, and behold a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. We are at
so
war.
You better lace your straps up.
Physical and spiritual.
We're at war. So you better lace your straps up.
Man, the hell up this room.
This is war.
We are at war.
So you better lace your straps up.
Physical and spiritual.
We're at war. So you better lace your straps
Man, the hell up this
up.
room. Big tanks, warships, and planted hands with small chips. North Korea, Russian spies, war is at our doorsteps. History doesn't lie, they beat the slaves with horse whips. So I think it's only right we pay them back with small tips. End of time, spoken of, it's gonna get a little warm. Daniel 7 started 8, judgment of the little horn that beat us down, held us back, called us by obscenities. Prepare us a table in the presence of our enemies and pay them back. Worse than that, they argue that the earth is flat. Our babies dying, mothers crying, cities full of murdered blacks. Hispanics too, they hate you too. Edomites are not your friend. Harmless smile behind the scenes. They tracking you through iPhone 10 technologies, through policy. We served them since the colonies. This ain't our rest, my mind is right. This place is hell, I'm not at ease. I swore an oath with every breath. I promise to defend the law. Sword is sharpened, armored up. I'm calling for the men of
This
war.
is war. So you better lace your straps up.
Physical and spiritual.
We're at war. So you better lace your straps up.
Man, the hell up this room.
This is war.
We are at war.
So you better lace your straps up.
Physical and spiritual.
We're at war. So you better lace your straps
Man, the hell
up.
up this room.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful, Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the promise of life is a blessing, and life is a lesson. Life is a setback, and life is progression. Life is uneasy at times, life is comfortable. Life will lift you up, and at times, life will humble you. Life is a gift, you better thank the Lord for it. Every chance you get, someone is less fortunate. Life goes in circles, life throws you curveballs. Life can be deceiving like preachers in the church halls. Life isn't promised. If I could be honest, the fact that I'm alive, that time has me astonished. Cause I came from the underground, being tossed around, being lost and found. Now they adore the sound of the priest, far from a nuance. Verses are proverbs, written's are the new psalms. Another song for the blocks and the avenues. Everything is plain, I don't speak to them in
I wanna
parables.
praise you, Yahweh.
I wanna praise you.
I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the power I see the world through different eyes. Every Sunday got the preacher telling different lies, hearing things that I really couldn't visualize. Should've listened, Big said you'd be hypnotized. I was a victim too, I say respectfully. They all up in the soup, don't know the recipe. Talking about I'm not who I was bred to be. Count me out, man, who made you the referee? Trying to get stripes, trying to cloud chase. At 19, I made an about face. Thanks to Christ, it's also about grace. And they lied when they said it ain't about race. But that's another song, I ain't the first to tell ya. Woke up on a deeper and a surface level. Learned the laws and the laws changed my attitude. And this song is to show you how a gratitude. I'm so grateful.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful, Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
Now let it ride.
I wanna praise you. I wanna thank you.
All right, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shah Shabbat. We back at it again. Early in the morning, man. The water for brothers and sisters tuning in. Before we get started, my God, you got anything you want to add?
Nah, just Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to be here again, and brother, ready for you to bring it out, brother.
God. All praise to the Most High. All right, so, as y'all see the name of the title, right? And it's titled that way for a reason, because it's been a lot of speculation, throughout Israel, first and foremost, because that's who we care about. But we know that, Esau love to play games with our book. You know what I'm saying? And they don't tell the truth. They don't give the full truth. Actually, they don't give damn near no truth. Right? So the reason why I titled it this is because when you read into the scriptures that talk about the Leviathan, right, it looks as if it's some kind of mythical sea creature. You know what I'm saying? Not sure who all believes that and who all knows exactly where I'm going to go into it with it or not. But I'm bringing this out for edification purposes. This is not to, argue back and forth. Oh, well, no, this sea creature actually exists. No, it don't. Yes, it do. It's not for that, right? It's to literally provide more insight, and this was definitely one of the first lessons I actually have even put together. And, it was just sitting there as I'm sitting there reading, Spirit just came over me to kind of just dig more into it and just see exactly what it is that this creature actually exists. And if it did, why doesn't it exist anymore? You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset that I had going into it. Right. So first and foremost, let's start out with the book of Psalms 111 and verse 10. Right, because we got to understand when you keeping commandments, right, the Most High will reveal certain things to you, right? So go ahead, bring that up.
All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
So it's a good understanding have all they that keep the commandments of the Most High. He will show you certain things that he may not show to others, right? Everybody don't have the same gift. Everybody don't have the same knowledge per se. Some have more knowledge, some have less knowledge, right? It's not about how much knowledge you have, but it's about you keeping the commandments, right? We understand that he revealed certain things to Esdras that he expounded on that he didn't expound on with Daniel, so we're going to bring this information out today Most High willing, is edifying to the people, right? So, first scripture I'm gonna start out with. I'm gonna actually switch it up. First scripture I want to start out with is Second Esdras. Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse start at verse 47.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 47. Upon the 5th day, thou saidest unto the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls, and fishes. And so it came to pass. For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment of God, that all people might praise thy wondrous works.
All right, so we understand the creation story. So let's get this, and we're gonna read this. Let's get that creation story in Genesis, because we want to do some text comparison here. All right, because it's gonna, when you read it, you're gonna find out it's gonna be some things that's not necessarily that's mentioned in Esdras, that's not necessarily mentioned in the book of Genesis. Right, so book of Genesis chapter 1 and start at verse 8. No, not 18. Start at verse 20.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 18.
20,
And to
verse 20.
Verse 20. And Yahweh said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven.
All right,
21.
so yeah, you can start right there. So we see in verse 48 in Second Esdras, it says, for the dumb water without life brought forth living things at the commandment of God, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. All right, so we see that this lines up so far, right? So now read verse 21.
Verse 21. And Yahweh created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and Yahweh saw that it was good.
All right, so we see that, even gray whales, things like that, every winged fowl, all of these things was brought forth. Right, we see that this is lining up so far, right? We see that the water brought these things forth. Now let's go back to Second Esdras and read verse 49.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 49. Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou callest Enoch, and the other Leviathan.
We got controversy, right? It don't, like, we understand when Enoch was born, when we go through the lineage of Adam. We understand that Enoch wasn't born at this time. So, hey, what is this talking about? Is this literal what Ezra is describing, or is this something that's figurative, right? Is he trying to say something here? Right? We're gonna find out throughout this lesson, right? But keep reading.
Verse 50. And didst separate the one from the other, for the 7th part, namely, where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. Verse 51. Unto Enoch thou gavest 1 part, which was dried up the 3rd day, that he should dwell in the same part, wherein are 1,000 hills.
All right. So when we see that the earth was dried up literally on the 3rd day when we read in the book of Genesis. But where do we see Enoch? Right? We don't see Enoch, right? But just think about it. We understand that Enoch represents righteousness, right? So keep that in the back of your minds, right? Keep going.
Verse 52. But unto Leviathan thou gavest the 7th part, namely, the moist, and haste kept him to be devoured of whom thou wilt and when.
All right, so but we're gonna focus on Leviathan, right? It says to kept him to be devoured of whom and when, right? This is metaphorical speaking here, right? And we're gonna show that. So from there, let's grab the book of Psalms. Actually, yeah, let's grab the book of Psalms. Psalm 74. We're gonna start at verse 5.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 74, and verse 5. A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees.
All right, so notice that, right? This is the context. It says a man was famous for this, right? Read on.
But now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axes and hammers. They have cast fire into thy sanctuary. They had defiled by casting down the dwelling place by the name to the ground. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of God in the land. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. O Yahweh, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme the name forever? Why withdrawest thou thy hand, even thy right hand? Pluck it out of thy bosom. For Yahweh is my king of old, working salvation in the midst of the earth. Thou didst divide the sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in the waters. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness.
All right, so it's a lot here, right? So this is talking about a particular man, right? So now from here, let's go. I want to grab Isaiah 27 because we're going to find out who this man is. We got to find out who this man is that's receiving this judgment, right? It's a man that's going to receive this judgment for doing what? For literally going into our sanctuary, you know what I'm saying, burning up our sanctuary, doing all sorts of abomination, slaying pigs, throwing pigs' blood on all of our silver and our gold, our and everything that the priests used to sacrifice with. They they made it abomination by slaying pigs and throwing the pig's blood on all of it, right? Defiling everything that we have. We're gonna see who this man is, right? So let's go to 27. 27 start at verse 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 27, and verse 1. In that day, the Lord was sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day, sing ye unto her, a vineyard of red wine. I, the Lord, do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day.
All right, Salaki. So you can stop right there. So from there, it's going to be a little bit of reading before we get to expounding. So from there, let's go to Isaiah 37. And let's read verse 28.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 37, and verse 28. But I now thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me, because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come up into my ears. Therefore will I put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest.
All right, hold that right there. So we're gonna come back to that particular verse as well. Right. So we're gonna see these is all judgments that's the Most High getting ready to cast on this particular person, on this particular man, in this instant in which we're talking about, right? So let's flip, let's go back to chapter 14 in Isaiah. Right, back to chapter 14, and let's go 1 through 4.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, starting at verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, the king of Babylon,
Go ahead.
and say, how hath the oppressor seized, the golden city seized.
Right. So this is things that's going to happen to the king of Babylon, right, during this time. Now you may say, oh, wow. So you saying that the king of Babylon is literally the Leviathan. Well, guess what? It's not just the king of Babylon that would be the Leviathan, right? Meaning what? Let me show you how they depict this dragon. And you're going to see something here. All right? You're going to see something here in this depiction of what this dragon, quote unquote, is supposedly looks like. And even when you see this, and what y'all seen it in the thumbnail, if you actually seen it before you click the link, right? So I share my screen. Right. So I'm gonna go to images. Go to images, if this thing would ever work. All right, now we see all of these different images, right? We see this image here of a dragon, being defeated by what looks like supposed to be the Most High or Yahweh Shai, laying in the midst of the waters, right? See one here that literally looks like some kind of blue-eyed dragon, right? Which would make sense in the sense of today's stand form, right? Because we know who has blue eyes on this planet Earth, but we see a bunch of them, but one that stands out, right? This one here. Click on it, try to make it larger. All right, this one stands out here. And while I'm waiting for this to pop up, Mike Allah, can you grab Psalm 74 again? And read, I think it's verse 14.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 74, and verse 14. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness.
All right, so the key thing we're focusing on is breakest the heads. So we know that those other images, they don't have multiple heads. It's just one single-headed dragon, right? It's one single-headed dragon. But in Psalms 74, it says that thou breakest the heads, right? So it means what? This thing has multiple heads. right? So what does this remind you of, right? Let's grab Revelation. Revelation chapter 12. Right. And we're not gonna do the full breakdown. We're just gonna, make this make sense, right? Chapter 12, read verse 3.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 12, and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
All right, see that? So 7 heads, just like we see here. Right? I'm not gonna do a full breakdown on Revelation and tell you what these heads are in Revelation. Right? Let's jump to 13 and verse 1. All right, it's gonna say the same thing, but again, I'm not doing a full breakdown on that, right? Because it's not about Revelation right now, per se. But read that.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads,
7
and
heads.
10 horns.
Mm-hmm. So like you could stop right there. So 7 heads, right? Now guess what? I'm going to sit here and say, hey, just think about it. How many captivities have we been in? All right. We can go down the list from what? The Egyptians, right? The Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persian and Medes, right? The Greeks, the Romans, and guess where we at now? In America, 7. Right? So things that we seeing that's being prophesied that the Most High is literally, read Psalm 74 and verse 14 again. The 7 heads of the Leviathan, right? Go ahead.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 74, verse 14. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness.
All right. So who were the people inhabiting the wilderness? He's breaking these heads. Do anybody think that this thing right here is lawful to eat? Right? I would say no. And I damn sure would want to eat it, right? But he gave us it to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness, meaning what? That's why I had the brother read Isaiah 14, starting at verse 1, right? When we're literally going to rule over our oppressors. Everybody that oppressed us and have a hand in our slavery, we're going to rule over them. That's how they're going to be meat given unto us, right? I did a symbol search, right? And this is what popped up when I did that on the Leviathan. Right, this is the AI overview, right? It says in the Hebrew Bible, the Leviathan is a symbol of Babylon, a powerful enemy. Right? It says the Leviathan is a sea monster that appears in the books of Isaiah and Job and in the Psalms. Right? Scroll down. Scroll down. Right? It says Leviathan also figures in the Hebrew Bible as a metaphor for a powerful enemy, notably Babylon. And they use Isaiah 27 and 1. All right, because we know that Isaiah was prophesying against that kingdom as well. All right. It says some 19th century scholars pragmatically interpret it as a referring to large aquatic creatures such as the crocodile. The word later came to be used as a term for a great whale and for sea monsters in general. Right. So now they basically they don't know. They don't know what it is. So they're trying to tell us it's this mythical thing that exists in the waters. right? So this is a Google search. Another Google search. This is in Britannica, right? It says, this one says in Isaiah 27:1, the Leviathan is a serpent and a symbol of Israel's enemies who will be slain by God. Right? Then it says in Job 41 is a sea monster and a symbol of God's power of creation. So I'm here to tell you that this Leviathan, the one that has the 7 heads, represents all of Israel's enemies. Why else would David be prophesying, saying that he's going to break those heads and he's going to give it to the people that inhabit the wilderness? Right? People that inhabited the wilderness, he's going to give them these pieces for meat, meaning to rule over. Right? Let's grab let me get back to the screen here. Let me see here. Did I have something else here? No, that wasn't nothing. Okay. Get back to the screen. All right, so let's go back. Let's get some more. Let's go back to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 104. And we're going to start at verse 24.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 104, and verse 24. And it says, O Lord, how manifold are thy works! In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches.
Right? And wisdom has made everything, right? The living creatures, the people, the trees, the birds, the waters, everything, right? Go ahead.
So is the great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping, innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships. There is that Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season.
All right, who are these that wait? Right, it's the children of Israel. Right, read.
That thou givest them, they gather. Thou openest thine hand. They are filled with good. Thou hidest thy face. They are troubled. Thou takest away their breath. They die and return to their dust. Thou sendest forth thy spirit. They are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth.
All right, so the Most High is in control of everything here, right? He's the one that rises up. He's the one that kills, right? He's the one that make these great beasts. He's the one that make the smaller beasts, right? He's the one that put all of these metaphors in here for who? For the children of Israel to read and discern what is it that's actually being said, right? Is this Leviathan some great beast, right? I'm not here to say that it never existed, right? But what I am here to say is that we have to discern what the Most High is actually saying to us through the prophets, right? He's literally telling the prophets, hey, you literally have to be able to know who this is talking about, when it's talking about them, right? You got something you want to add?
Nah, I'm rocking.
Okay, come. Right, so let's go to the book of Job now. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Go to the book of Job, chapter 41.
It's the book of Job, chapter 41, and verse 1. Canst thou draw out Leviathan with an hook, or his tongue with the cord which thou lettest down? Canst thou put an hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn?
All right, so can you catch this thing? All right, that's pretty much what Job is or not Job, Salakia. That's pretty much what the Most High is saying to Job. Hey, can you catch this thing? This thing that I create, can you catch it? Are you able to tame this thing? Right? But let's see what it is. We're gonna go back to that book of Isaiah, chapter 37, and read verse 29, because we're gonna see what the hooks and the nose, what that represents, and who that's talking about. Because we understand that Isaiah prophesied against who? King of Babylon, right? Go ahead. 37, verse number 29.
37 and 29?
Come.
Okay, gotcha. So like I thought you said 27.
No.
All right. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 37 and verse 29. Because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come up into my ears. Therefore will I put my hook in thy nose and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest.
All right, he's going to turn around the captivity, right? He's going to literally get rid of the king of Babylon, right? Now, not only him. So let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, and let's go to chapter 29.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 29.
And you can actually start at the top.
Come on. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 29 and verse 1. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, in the 12th day of the month, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt.
See that? Now it's going into the king of Egypt, right? Because again, I remember what I said. It's not just Babylon. Right, read.
Right? Speak and say, thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of his rivers.
I go another great dragon. Right, read on.
Which hath said, my river is my own, and I have made it for myself. But I will put hooks in thy jaws.
He's going to do
I
what?
And I will put hooks in thy jaws.
Right, same question that was literally being asked to Job, even though he said hooks in his nose, but he's using hooks too, right? And this prophecy, read on.
And I will cause the fish of thy rivers to stick into thy scales, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of thy rivers, and all the fish of thy rivers shall stick into thy scales. And I will leave thee thrown into the wilderness, thee and all the fish of thy rivers. Thou shalt fall upon the fields, Salakia. Thou shalt fall upon the open fields. Thou shalt not be brought together, nor gathered. I have given thee for meat to the beasts of the field and to the fowls of the heaven.
All right. So when he says that the fish of the rivers, he's going to cause them to stick to thy scales, right? These are the people that's in rulership. How do we know that this people, well, not people that's in rulership, but people that's literally on his side, that's by his side? How do we know that the fishes is talking about people, right? Remember, the Bible explains everything, right? So let's grab the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 14. Because it's nothing new. We understand that it's nothing new under the sun. We quote that scripture all the time, but do we really believe it? All right. Chapter 1 and verse 14.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 14. And maketh men as the fishes of the sea, as the creeping things that have no ruler over them. They take up all them with the angle, they catch them in their net,
All right,
and gather them.
That was the end of it, or was that verse 15?
No, that's verse 15.
Okay, kind of. So just 14, right? So he makes his men as the fishes of the sea, which have no ruler over them. We know the people that don't have rulers over them, right? It's these other nations. All right, these other nations, they have no ruler over them at all. They don't have a God. Well, they have gods, but their gods can't do nothing. There's been plenty times over and over where we read throughout this Bible where the Most High said, "Hey, you get your gods and can bring them up to me. Let's see. Let's see is who is able to save. Is it the Most High God or is it the fish god that they call Dagon? Right? Is it Vishnu? Right? Is it give me some other ones. You know what I'm saying?
You got Val.
Khan.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the main villain right there. You know what
Khan.
I'm saying? You got all of these different guys that was created, that was different idols, and the children of Israel even worship some of them.
Khan.
Right? So you got all of these things, but we understand that the Most High don't deal with these other nations. And these other gods are not real. They can't do nothing. They can't hurt you. They can't do anything to you or for you. Right? So why should we worship them? Right? We shouldn't. Right? So, let's go back to the book of Job 41. And let's read verse number 3.
This is the book of Job, chapter 41 and verse 3. Will he make many supplications unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee?
See that? Go ahead.
Will he make a covenant with thee? Will thou take him for a servant forever?
All right, so these questions are being asked. Hey, will he speak soft words? Will he make a covenant with you? Right? And this is talking about the Leviathan. Will the Leviathan make a covenant with you? So you mean to tell me if it is a creature, right, that's out there, but we're talking about in this particular context, right? If you draw this thing out, can you make a covenant with this dragon? Right? Me personally, I don't think he's talking to a dragon. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't even attempt to talk to a dragon, not Job. Right? But let's see who speak these soft words, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 55. You can start at the top.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, and starting at verse 1. Give ear to my prayer, O Yahweh, and hide not thyself from my supplication.
And Shalakia, jump down to verse 20.
Verse 20. He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Right, and we understand, in this context, David was, we know what things that David dealt with, but the knowledge that we can also draw from this is it's the same thing that the enemy does. The enemy literally reaches out his right hand, right, trying to ask for a covenant with a sword behind his back, right, speaking to you smooth things. His words are smoother than butter. He tried, just like he did, more than likely how he did, because again, we wasn't there to know the exact words that were said, but we can understand that when the so-called natives, when they were here, we understand that Esau, when they came over, they wasn't coming over just unruly, just automatically killing them, right? They had to learn from them. They had to learn how to grow food from the land, doing these different things like that. And the whole time that they wanted to do that, they already had it in their mind. Once we learn how to do this from these people, we're going to kill them and we're going to take it. All right.
And to throw in there, when they came out here and they see all the fruitful land we had, when you showing them of what we have and how to produce everything, they always come with gifts too. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like what they do, hey, I'll trade you my gun, for a part of some of this land over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That they always use a trickery way to make it seem like they for you, they with you, and they will give you gifts to make you feel like, hey man, these some good people. That's why what you got, Ecclesiastes 7:7.
I know. I was just about to pull it.
Come,
I read
bring
it.
that up. Come.
Right. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Right,
And
because everything that they do is oppression and it pisses you off day in and day out, right? Same thing what they did by the natives. You know, they showed them everything. They did everything that they was what they thought they was doing the right thing. Because naturally, Israel are some really nice people. We are really genuine kind of people. And they knew that. Go ahead.
and a gift destroyeth the heart.
The gift destroys the heart, man. That's been going on centuries, and it's still happening now, right? They always got a prize for you to set you up for some type of turmoil.
Okay.
You got to keep an eye on your enemy. That's why you never blink on your enemy. All right, I'll land there.
Okay. Let's go back to Job 41. All right. We're gonna go do a lot of jumping between Job 41 and other scriptures, right?
All right. This is the book of Job, chapter 41 and verse 5. Wilt thou play with him as with a bird, or wilt thou bind him for thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Canst thou
So
fill his
Salakia, so we can hold that right there, right? It says so the companions make a banquet with him, right? What I'm about to do is I just want to get the end time prophecy of what those companions are actually going to do with him, right? So let's get the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Right? This is end time prophecy of what they're going to do. We're going to see if this is a banquet or not, right? Start at verse 11.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, but no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
All right, so this is what the merchants are going to do, right? Go ahead.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, Diane wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men.
And souls of men and slaves, right? The children of Israel, right? Let's jump down, just get the judgment, verse 17.
Verse 17, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and
So,
cried with.
no, you could drop it right there, right? We understand that what's going to happen, right? We understand what's going to happen with these merchants, right? Are they going to make a banquet of him? Hey, the answer is no, right? They're not going to make a banquet of him, of the enemy, right? What's going to happen is he going to be destroyed, and this place is going underwater, right? It's going to be a habitation of all kind of owls and ravens and all of these birds. They're going to have food for centuries, right? They're going to have food for centuries. So that's what's going to happen, right? So let's flip back to Job 41 and go, and you can keep going.
This is the book of Job, chapter 41 and verse 7. Canst thou fill his skin with barbed irons, or his head with fish spears? Lay thy hand upon him. Remember the battle, do no more. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down, even at the sight of him? None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me?
Right. So it's just saying nobody that's on the planet of this earth is fierce enough to stand before him. Even in our the knowledge that we've gained so far, right? We're not we might probably have the spirit to stand against the America's army and government and things of that nature, but we damn sure don't have the power, like the power, the I won't even say the manpower, but we don't have the weapons that they have. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the resources that they have, anything like that. If we tried to go against America today, we'll be wiped out. Right? We'll be wiped out. Number one, because it ain't time for us to do it no way. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord is not literally, he's fighting for us, but it's not to where we think. It's not to the point where we're able to literally go to war. All right. How do we know that? Let's grab Jeremiah 16. All right. Everything is explained here. Jeremiah 16, start at verse 16.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, says the Lord, and they shall fish them.
All right, which is what we're doing now when we go out and hold camp, things of that nature. Go ahead.
And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks.
So this is when the Lord is going, that's when we're going to go out and fight physically. Right? We're literally going to be hunting, people, right? Hunting these other nations, hunting the wicked of our people, right? Because even if the wicked of our people don't want to repent or change in those last days, what do you think is going to happen to them? Right? The Lord is going to put them to death through the hands of his people, which that's the way it's always been. When we found adulterers inside of our nation, what do? We brought them to the forefront. They had a trial. They was found guilty. The person that first seen it, they cast the first stone. Right? They literally put them to death. So it ain't going to be no different when the Most High returns. Right? It's not going to be no different. So let's flip back. All right, let's flip back to Job chapter 41.
Just the book of Job, chapter 41, starting at verse 10. 11.
You can read 10 again. That's cool.
Okay, verse 10. None is so fierce that dare to stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? Who have prevented me that I should repay him? Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine. I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment? Or who can come to him with his double bridle?
All right. It's just talking about his protection, his armies. Right. Who's going to be able to do these things? All right. Let's grab the book of Ezekiel, chapter 21 and verse 21. Right. Just so we can show literally that it's literally talking about these armies. Right. Who can discover the face of his garment? Who can come to him with his double bridle, meaning his protection? When you look up that bridle, it's something that we literally used to wear, that armor that we used to have on, right? And it's saying that he has double bridle, right? Now, again, we understand that the Most High literally makes amazing things, amazing creations, and I'm going to reiterate throughout the rest of this lesson that, hey, maybe this thing does exist, right? But hey, I'm just bringing out what the Most High showed me to bring out. Mostly, again, hopefully it's edifying, y'all. So read verse 21.
That's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 21 and verse 21. But the king of Babylon stood at the parting of the way, at the head of two ways, to use divination.
To use divination, right? He's trying to confuse, right? Go ahead.
He made his arrows bright. He consulted with images. He looked and delivered. At his right hand was the divination for Jerusalem.
For who?
For Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
To appoint captains, to open the mouth in the slaughter, to lift up the voice with shouting, to appoint battering rams against the gates, to cast them out and to build a fort. And it shall come to and it shall be unto them as a false divination in their sight, to them that have sworn oaths. But he will call to remembrance the iniquity, that they may be taken. Verse 24. Therefore, thus says the Lord Yahweh, because you have made your iniquity to be remembered, in that your transgressions are discovered, so that in all your doings your sins do appear. Because I say that ye are come to remembrance, ye shall be taken with the hand. And thou, profane wicked prince of Israel, whose day is come when iniquity shall have an end. Thus says the Lord Yahweh, remove the diadem and take off the crown, and this shall not be the same. Exalt him that is low, and abase him that is high. I will overturn it, and it shall be no more, until he come whose right it is, and I will give it him. And thou, son of man, prophesy and say, thus says the Lord God concerning the Ammonites, and concerning their reproach. Even say thou, the sword is drawn, for the slaughter it is furbished, to consume because of the glittering.
All right, so let's flip back. Right. Let's flip back. So because we understand that these are prophecies that's literally going against the king of Babylon, right? The wicked of Israel, against the Ammonites, and all of these things, right? So we're going to pick up right where we left off. You can read that verse again. Because all of these things, the divination that was being used to literally be as false divination unto the children of Israel, right? All of these things that's coming up against the Ammonites, all of these things, this is how he creates that double brittle. When you have confusion in the world, and you have a people that don't know who they are, guess what? It becomes as another protection for you, right? When you can hide yourself, knowing that you are considered the Leviathan, and you can hide yourself within that and not tell the people what this really is, guess what? You create another double brittle, right? You create protection against knowing who you are, and you keep confusion in the world to literally keep your people down. All right? But go ahead.
All right. Verse 13 again. It's the book of Salaki. This is the book of Job, chapter 41 and verse 13. Who can discover the face of his garment? Or who can come to him with his double brittle?
Jump to verse 15.
Verse 15. His scales are his pride.
His scales are his pride, his armies, right? His armies, the navies, right? All of these different army, navies, what else is it? Air Force,
Marines, all
of these things, those are his pride, right? Read.
Set up together as with a close seal.
With a close seal, read.
One is so near to another that no air can come between them.
See that? One is so near, right? Yeah, and how do we know that? Because the reason why he had an Air Force is so they can do what? They can literally attack from the air, right? They have the Marines. They are literally attack from the waters. They have the Navy, the Army that literally attack from the land. Guess what? This is,
No, Salaki, go ahead.
Oh, this is so close that no air can come in between them, right? That's why it says in In verse 15, his scales are his pride, shut up together as with a close seal. This is how close knit that they are. They're attacking from all different facets that you can even think of. Right? That's how you know that the scales are representing this army. Right? One is so near into another. They all in communication. All right, they all ain't no, the army ain't making moves without the Navy. Navy ain't making moves without the Marines, without the Air Force knowing exactly what's going on. There ain't none of that. Ain't nobody making no moves. All right, you had something you was finna bring up?
No, just keep going. I'll get it out in a second. I want you to keep going.
All right, come on, go ahead. Verse 17.
Verse 17. They are joined one to another. They stick together.
Everything I just said, right? Read.
That they cannot be sundered.
That they cannot be defeated. Right? We understand, we gotta understand the wickedness of Esau, right? He's stupid, but he's not stupid. Right? You know, if that makes sense. He's stupid, but he's not stupid. He understand war. When the Most High created him, that's what he said. Hey, he's gonna live by the sword. He understands war, but he don't have the Most High like we have him. Why do you think David always consulted with the Most High before going out to battle? Right? That's the reason why. Because again, it's not to say that we didn't understand war, because when you read, especially when you read in Chronicles, right, you'll see that we understood war. You'll see who was good with the bow. You'll see who was as fast as deer, the Gadites. You'll see all of these different things. We had skills too, but we also had the Most High. And when we was keeping commandments, we was undefeated. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay. All right. Verse 18. By his neesings a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out.
Right, so we see that, right? So we'll look at that and be like, hey man, it's a dragon that's blowing fire. You know what I'm saying? Just because this is what dragons do. This is what the white man said. Hey, dragons literally, they blow out fire out their mouth, right? Or why can't we look at this as them literally burning down everything that they see, everything that they touch? You know what I'm saying? Everything that they get their hands on. Anytime they get their hands on our scriptures, why can't we see that? Let's go. Yeah.
All right. Verse 20. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or a cauldron. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him.
All right, because they're happy when they destroy. Right? They're happy when they destroy, when they literally are able to keep the children of Israel down. You know what I'm saying? Now it done got so bad to the point where they don't even care about them damn selves. If you ain't on their level, they'll destroy you too, even if you they people. Right? The sorrow is turned into joy. Look at all of the hangings that they did, you know what I'm saying, of our people. They literally, man, them people out there, they out there getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? They got guns. They got these what they call them, lamps with the burning fire. I forgot what they call them. But they out there. Yeah, the lanterns. They got the lanterns. They out there. They shouting for joy, smiling, drinking. And then they literally letting out schools. They let the schools out early just so they can come watch a lynching. Right? All of these things are turned into joy before him. Right? And right now it's Esau. Right? But before it was Pharaoh, right? King of Babylon, king of the Assyrians, right? Nebuchadnezzar, It was all of these people, right? Alexander the Greek, all of these people. This is who really makes up the Leviathan. And again, not saying that this creature don't exist, but this who makes that up. Right? When we read in certain contexts throughout the Bible.
Hey, no, keep going. I got one more. I'm wait till you finish it out.
No, we can go ahead.
Oh, okay, kind of. So,
Yeah, we can go ahead.
no, just go. Trust me, because it's on topic, but not on the same topic. So I don't want to knock it off topic. Let's keep going.
All right, Con. Go ahead.
All right, bet. Verse 21.
23.
His breath could. Okay,
20.
Slakia. Yep. Verse 23. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm in themselves. They cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as a stone, yea, as hard as a piece of the nether millstone.
All right, so let's look that up. Right, I'm gonna share my screen again. All right, we're gonna look up this nether millstone. Look up this nether millstone. And I'm gonna actually type in how hard, right, is it? So we're gonna find out, right? We're gonna see what was being revealed unto Job. All right, AI overview says another millstone is considered extremely hard, essentially representing the idea of something unyielding and difficult to break, as the phrase originates from the Bible, where it describes a heart as hard as a piece of the nether millstone, referring to the lower, heavy stone in a traditional hand mill, which is known for its solid, resistant nature. Right? This is how hard-headed this man is today, right? So I'm gonna get back. Probably one of the hardest stones on the face of the earth. And this is what is comparing this Salaki, this man's mind to. All right, read verse 25.
All right, verse 25. When he raises up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breakings, they purify themselves.
Right, when he raising up himself, the mighty people, right? It was mighty nations on this earth. And all of them, even right now, right? Even right now, Russia is considered a mighty nation when we talking about war, right? Do you think they're going to attack America by themselves? Absolutely not. They know that they'll be destroyed. But guess what? This is how you know that over time, this is literally talking about everybody that's been in rulership. Everybody had this heart of the nether millstone, right? It may not have described it like that, but when we think back to Pharaoh, the Most High hardened his heart. You know what I'm saying? When you go to all of the different kings throughout all of the different captivities, they all had hardened hearts. Every last one of them. All right, go ahead.
All right. Verse 26. The sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold. The spear, the dart, nor the habergeon.
Right. So anything that, because again, this is the time where Job is writing this. So, they didn't have a bunch of guns, pistols, AK-47s, nothing like that. All right. So it's saying that you can't pierce his skin. You can't get through him. You can't defeat him. None of these things can hold him. Right. Go ahead.
God. And you know, like it's saying about the Habergeon, those are nothing but like protection armor, right? Because
Con,
it's like that metal. Hey, pull it up on the screen real quick, like the
con.
Habergeon. You know, so people can understand what that is. Because you see a lot of times in like swords of a war movie, like with horses and swords and all that, you'll see the kind of armor they have. It's a protector. It's like a body shield.
We'll go to images. The definition says the sleeveless coat of mail or scale armor. And that's also how you know when it also mentioned his scales. So how you know is also talking about armor and protection, right?
God. Right,
So here,
exactly. So all those portraits right there, you see like the scales like of animal, like the scales of a crocodile, right? Those are like the scales of protection where you could try to jab a sword in there, it protects them, right? That's what it does, it's a protection. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's talking about because what the army do, they're fully protected. Americans' army is fully protected by a lot of things, by their nukes, by their tanks and all that, etc. But this is why you know that the Most High, no matter what they have, no matter how much protection they have, they can't destroy the Most High.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? The Most High created them to be that way, to show them that, hey, these are the people that's unstoppable in your eyes. But let me show you what I can do. I'm going to show you how I'm going to make it look real easy. Because just like when you go to Isaiah 14 and 12, when it talks about how Lucifer and all that, etc., thou have fallen, you have weakened the nations, you just like us, right? That's going to be a shocking thing to the whole United States and all the whole world. Like, wow, America's failed. The white man is now just like us now. They're weak, right? So this is their last rulership in this earth. They're supposed to show their dominant force through army, through their technology, through all these things. They're dominant in everything. But when Yahweh return, and when Yahweh Shai come and get his people, and we fully wake up the 144, the 1/3, it's a wrap.
Huh.
I'm in there.
And then I just wanted to point this out, y'all. And under here, we see what this is. We understand that this is what the priests wore, right? And the reason why I wanted to point it out is because this is our protection. Right? This is a symbol of our protection when the priests made the things that was told for them to make. They wore it, right? They wore it in the temples. Guess what? Head covering, as the priests had to when they was going into the temples to do the sacrifices. They had to wear head coverings. You know what I'm saying? So this is us keeping the law. Is basically what I'm saying. This is our protection. You know, this stuff over here. This stuff, put some fire to this stuff, and put enough heat to it. Watch this stuff melt. You know what I'm saying? They try to
or burn them out of their suit. They're gonna jump out of that thing.
Yeah, most definitely. It's because it's definitely gonna burn them. They try to have all of these things so that verse 28.
Verse 28. The arrow cannot make him flee.
See, that bow and arrow. This can't make him flee because he's protected. That thing is gonna bounce right off of him. You know what I'm saying? This is why they wear it on like their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? They can't have it directly on their neck because it makes it hard for them to move. But unless you like a skilled shooter, this is right here on the neck part. All right. Let me actually blow this up. Try to blow this up.
Hey, the Habergeon is no different from the bulletproof vest that the police officers in them wear. Just new modern day protection.
Let me blow this thing up some more. Because you got to be a perfect shot in order for an arrow to pierce, because it's only going to pierce literally in one spot, right? This thing is taking all day. All right, I'll drop it. But y'all seen, everybody, I'm sure y'all seen it right here, right? Right here on this neck part. And this is real thick cloth that they got in between, you know, the neck and the helmet. You know, so they trying to be as protected. So you have to be probably at a close range. If you want a bow and arrow to pierce through this, got to be at a close range. And even then, that's probably, it might be Teflon. So you might not even be able to pierce that per se. Again, unless you up close and you applying force with a sword of some sort. Right, so the arrow cannot make him flee. What else? Read the rest of that.
Darts are counted as stubble. He laugheth at the shaking of a spear.
Why? Because it's not going to pierce through that armor. All right, go ahead.
Sharp stones are under him. He spreadeth sharp pointed things upon the myrrh. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh the path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary. Upon earth there is not like his, Salakia. Upon the earth there is not his like, who is made without fear. He beholdeth all high things. He is a king over all the children of pride.
Right, he is a king over all the children of pride. You know, so let me get back to the screen. Right, he is the king over all the children of pride. So I'm just here to say that, do we think that a mythical sea creature, right, can be the king over all the children of pride? Right? I mean, if the Most High set it up that way, he set it up that way. You know what I'm saying? You know, but hey, again, I don't know any mythical sea creature or any creature for that. You know what I'm saying? For that sake, meaning I don't know no animal, no creature, no creeping thing, no nothing that wears any of this stuff for protection. I ain't never seen it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I say, like, when I went back into this and I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? If you just read the first few verses, okay, I can see why you get that understanding. But when you read this and you take it in its totality, that what's being said, what's being asked to Job and what's being said behind it, you got to look at it and be like, hold on. Hey, man, is this really a mythical? Is this really talking about something that's mythical? Right? Is this literally talking about something that nobody really seen outside of Job? Right? Because we see David talking about it. We see it being talked about in Esdras. Right? But even Esdras and David, really didn't see it. And according to this chapter, I don't even think Job seen it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to ask ourselves these questions, like, can we allow, you know, the enemy to keep confusing us this way? We can't. All right. So before I close out, you got something you want to add?
Yeah. Going back into Job, but this is in chapter 40, right? Because the way you put everything together, etc., it goes hand in hand, even with the behemoth, right? Because, you know, you got these both big figures, creatures that they say, well, this is a dragon and this is a dinosaur, right? So, you know, again, we know Esau plays games of saying it was a big dinosaurs, and reason why they don't exist anymore because of the Big Bang Theory. So we got those things that we have to really look at. But to open up to prove a point where, you know, like a dinosaur is considered as a dragon, right? What is it called? A Jurassic Park with Terrible Dragon or something like that.
Yeah.
So they
Dinosaurs.
using these. metaphors that's the same thing as one that's blowing out coals of fire, right? And you can use that as the army of their weaponry and all that. But let's go to Job 40 and 15, because this goes into the behemoth portion of it, and that behemoth portion kicks it out and tell you who that behemoth was, right? So read verse 15. I'm not gonna break all this down. I'm just gonna go bring out spare the moments of scriptures.
Okay, it's the book of Job, chapter 40 and verse 15. Behold, now behemoth, which I made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox.
Right. So we're gonna stop right there, because we now how that sounds when you don't have a backup of an understanding what that is talking about, you're gonna also pick it up as, hey, this is a dinosaur, man, or this is some type of brontosaurus that's eating the tree branches and all that, and he's eating off the grass and all that like a cow. But we're gonna find out who that is. Give me Daniel chapter 4 and verse, I think it might be verse 32 or 33. I think it is. Let me see. Yeah, start at verse 32. No, start at 31.
Okay. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4, starting at verse 31. While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken. The kingdom is departed from thee.
Right, because you know why? What you just read not too long ago, what it talks about in chapter 41, right? It talks about that he has a lot of pride. It says he is the children of pride, right? So Nebuchadnezzar lost his kingdom because of pride, right? Because it wasn't, matter of fact, it wasn't just because that it was only pride. The Most High was punishing us, and he had only a certain amount of time to rule over us, right? But he lost it because of pride. But go ahead.
Verse 32. And they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field.
Right. So these dwelling of men, this is talking about the Persians kicking in. The Persians going to take them out, take his kingdom and everything in it, right? With the Medes, right? Go ahead.
They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen.
They're going to make them do what?
Eat grass as oxen.
Right. They're going to turn you now into a slave. They're going to treat you like an animal. So now finish it off, and then we're going to go right back to that verse 15 in Job.
And 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will.
Right. So no matter what you do, and no matter what you choose, it's all power. It's all in the power of the Most High God. God is allowing these nations to be fierce, like we spoke earlier. God has allowed them to rule this earth. He's allowing them to show their power, their so-called power, to make them feel like the dominant force. But when the time comes, when Yahushua returns, it's going to look real simple when he knock them off. Right now, just go back to 15 again in Job, because this is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. This is not a dinosaur. This is talking about Nebuchadnezzar. This is talking about Babylon. All right.
It's the book of Job, chapter 40, verse 15. Behold now behemoth, which I made with thee. He eateth grass as an ox.
Keep going.
Lo, now his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly.
Right. All this power is coming from God. God, this is when we were off following the other gods. God had to go ahead and separate us and put us in the land of Nebuchadnezzar. And the thing was, God was still giving us peace out there. All we had to do, all we just had to do was follow instructions from him, because of the fact that we were doing the things wrong when according to the split. When the southern kingdom started falling off, he had to bring that Nebuchadnezzar to humble us down. And we've been in captivity ever since then. Right? So these are all God's power. Go ahead. Verse 17.
Verse 17, he moveth his tail like a cedar, and the sinews of his stones are wrapped together.
Right, because he got everybody wrapped up in captivity. Like that tail, you even go back to what we like in Revelations, right? What would you think about Revelations 12 when you talk about Herod? He took 12, took the 12 stars, right? Took a third of the stars with him, and with the tail he dragged. Grab that real quick, because these are none but all kingdoms. Say nothing but all kingdoms.
Skip. All right, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
The third part of the stars of the heaven is talking about Israel. He took the third stars of the heaven, right? Go ahead.
And did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Right, now let's just talk about Yahweh when he was about to be born, right? We ain't got to go no more in that, but I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm only trying to go to a deep breakdown because this was about the Leviathan. But this just shows you the characteristics of these animals, these dragons and dinosaurs figures. These are none but talk about kingdoms. These are not talking about none but the men that's ruling in those things. That's all. So it's history repeating itself. Right. So other than that, I'll land there.
All right, so let's go. To close it out, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 1, and start at the top.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 1, and verse 1. All wisdom cometh from the Lord, and is with him forever.
All right, so everything that was being brought out, it coming from the Most High. Right? It didn't just come from man. It didn't come from me. It didn't come from anybody else. It came from the Most High. Right? 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I wouldn't been able to do anything that I did today. Right? We just the vessel. You know what I'm saying? We the vessels of the Most High, and we're here to do his work. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. Who can number the sand of the sea and the drops of rain in the days of eternity? Who can find out the height of heaven and the breadth of the earth and the deep in wisdom? Wisdom have been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting.
All right, go ahead.
The word of God Most High is the fountain of wisdom.
Is the fountain of wisdom. The word, every word that's written in this Bible, the Apocrypha included, right, is literally the fountain of wisdom of the Most High, right? Read on.
And her ways are everlasting commandments. To whom have the root of wisdom been revealed?
Right. To whom has it been revealed to, right? We understand that certain things have been revealed to certain men inside the Bible, and then fast forward to today's time. Certain things been revealed. This is why certain people can only teach certain things. Everybody can teach Daniel, give a breakdown of Daniel chapter 7. Right? Everybody can't teach that. Right? You can listen, you can learn. Just because you listen and you can learn something, it don't mean you can teach it. Just because you might know the breakdown front to back, don't mean you'll be able to teach it, right? Just because you know it. Right? Because everything is of the Most High. He gives unto men, and men gives unto men, women, and children. Right? Read on.
To whom have the root of wisdom been revealed, or who have known her wise counsels? Unto whom have the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who have understood her great experience?
Read.
There is one wise and greatly to be feared.
There's one wise, right? Go ahead. Who is that?
The Lord sitting upon his throne.
Right, and we're gonna end with that, right? That's the one wise man. All right, the one wise spirit, man, however you want to look at it, right? That sitteth upon his throne. Right? He's the one that gets all the credit. This is, why Yahweh when he was asked of the Pharisees, how do we get the kingdom of heaven? Right? They said, good master. They called him good master. And he literally told them, hey, why are you calling me good? There is none good but one. And that's the God. That's the Most High. So, I'm going to close out with that. You know what I'm saying? You got anything to add? Anything else to add?
No, all praise to the Most High God, brother, man. Just, that was a great lesson. Words of wisdom, man. Continue on, allowing the Most High to use you, brother. So, hey, all praise to the Most High God, man.
All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High God. I hope that was edifying for the people. Any questions? Again, you can always call us. Number is flashing at the bottom. Email at the bottom. Like we always state. You can visit the Lions of Israel website to find out when all the feast days are, things of that nature. We also, again, just like we mentioned last night, Passover is coming up. So, make y'all plans, as soon as possible, because things fill up fast, things go away fast, because unfortunately, we're not the only people that celebrating Passover. You got all of Israel that's celebrating Passover, and then you got the small hats, right, that celebrate Passover. And those small hats are literally, they are the ones buying up all the vans, the big size vans and SUVs and things of that nature. And if you really pay attention and you notice, every year around Passover, all of these things are hard to find, from vans down to Airbnbs, things of that nature, right? So if you're coming out to celebrate with us and you're not in the camp, right, again, you have to RSVP at L.O.I. gatherings@gmail.com, right? So with that, I say shalom to the 12 tribes. And again, I pray that this is edifying to brothers and sisters. And all praises to the Most High. Enjoy the rest of y'all Sabbath. And shalom.
Shalom.
Spacious air, reflecting the way of life under the Florida sky. Even the lobbies funnel in the great outdoors.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Chosen. They say the chain of Shaitan is not that strong. They say his time is running out, he ain't got that long. They say murder, murder, kill, this is not that song. Said I won't amount to nothing, they got that wrong. Cause I was set apart and I was shown the light. And if I get the kingdom, I'll be clothed in white. 1/3 will be delivered and the rest were blinded. Their fate is set in stone, what you ain't read the fine print? Christ is gonna give a crown to us. In the end we'll have the nations bowing down to us, with their faces to the ground to us. It's the truth, as crazy as it sounds to us. Jacob forever rules, and we're his precious jewels. Showed us love and patience, put us above the nations. And that's the gospel, thank God for choosing me. Bad news for you, it's really good news for me.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Let me tell you why. We have a different kind of shine, a different kind of mind. The rhythm's not the same, we're on a different type of time. With a different kind of pace, a different kind of race. The season's not the same, we have a different kind of taste. A different kind of salt, we are so not them. Got my sword and my shield, man, I'm so locked in. And when I came to serve Yahweh, put my whole heart in. So I can't sit calm, I'm no Martin. And that's a reach, y'all, chosen to teach y'all. Every Sabbath you can find us in the streets, y'all. Dare ya Allah, my nickname is Priest, y'all. In the gym, they say that I'm a beast, y'all. Set apart, the nations all hating me. Set a trap, they lying in wait for me. Chris Paul, they don't wanna play with me. But if you love me, I'm asking that you pray with me. Cause
I was set apart for God's use. Chosen.
chosen.
I was set apart for God, you formed in His image.
Chosen. And thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people, chosen above all people that's on the face of the earth. That's Deuteronomy 7 and 6. That's you, black and Latin man. Chosen. That's you, black and Latin woman. Yeah. And we were chosen. Chosen.